Hello, my name is Dallas Plumley, and this is my assignment number 4 video. I've done a PowerPoint slide, and now I'm doing it in the Screencast-O-Matic format. And fortunately, I had a class last spring on how to do this, so hopefully I'll remember how to do it. But again, my name is Dallas Plumley, and this is Educational Leadership. The first video, or the first the article I came across was in a leadingsuccess.org reference, and it was called Inclusive Leadership. And what this was a interview with questions and principals giving feedback on it, and it was given different points of views from different administrations or different people, but it all went focused around how to treat people, setting goals, and focus on getting resources to support them, uh, giving the faculty a chance to lead. Uh, and a lot of times you have a diamond in the rough in a staff person, and until you give them a chance to step forward, you're not going to know it. I used to coach girls soccer, and one of the ladies helped me with my JRTC. One day she told me that she used to play soccer in high school, so the next year she was helping coach soccer. Uh, and but I would have never known that had I not made a relation or where I got her helping with JRTC, and we started talking, being friends and stuff. So she ended up being the girls soccer coach next year when I was ready to step down. Okay, and another thing is that everybody needs to understand the mission of the organization, whether it's an education organization, a military one, or a business. Everybody needs to understand what the focus is. Military is pretty simple. Education, there's lots of different uh, maybe mission statements, goals, things that administrators will come up with. But ultimately, the goal is to make that student successful, to walk across the stage and be ready for life when they come out of high school or go to that next education level. And it all depends on that administrator, principal, that develops a relationship, develops an atmosphere in the school that deals with inclusive leadership, lets people be responsible, lets people take charge, lets people be involved in the decision making, because ultimately they're going to be executing it. And yes, there's times when decisions have to be made, and that's the end of it. In the military, we refer to that as the boss made a decision. You salute the flagpole and you move on. At that point, everybody understood that. And that exists some in education, but not all the time, because the teachers are the ones doing it. Okay. And you also need, as these principals pointed out, you need time to talk. Every teacher is different. Every person in that organization is different, so you got to treat them differently. And now my cat's going to join me. Okay, goodbye, kitty. Goodbye. Uh, and you got to allow time for that. The second thing I came up with was a video, and I've posted it on YouTube here. And in this video, it was about 8 minutes long, and it was from Weyerhaeuser, which is a business, and they provide a lot of materials that I'm familiar with, anyways, that deal with building stuff a lot of times. But this video was all different people in the organization, from the owner to workers, talking about how the business was. And key points they kept making was inclusive leadership is key to the success of a company. Bottom line, you have to know that the workforce reflects the community and the customer characteristics. So if you don't, good example, if you deal with folks overseas and you don't have anybody to speak the language, you have a problem, or don't understand that culture, because there's lots of cultural differences. Okay, with inclusive leadership, workers feel like they're making a difference. Uh, that it allows different points of views to be presented. Workers feel like they're trusted. They're empowered. Uh, they're appreciated for their differences, because not every worker is the same. But this video was pretty interesting, about 8 minutes long, and it basically got into how this company felt they had to be inclusive to be successful. And the bottom line was, you spend a lot of time recruiting qualified workers that work for you. The least you should be able to do is treat them right, so they want to be there to work and be productive. How inclusive leadership can be applied in public high school? I'm a high school teacher. I've had 8 years of experience now teaching at the same school where I grew up at, basically. And from my perspective, say dealing, there's lots of things that can be done inclusive. And I'll start with the top of it, the Board of Education, superintendent. That person has to set standards and enforce them. And they have to be equal across the board for it to be effective. They have to support the discipline issues. We don't, as teachers, if we have trouble with students and they're just there to cause trouble, there has to be some way of moving that student someplace else so that one student don't disrupt 27 other kids' learning. It's a hard task, but this inclusive leadership means that the superintendent is going to listen to the teacher and the principal and the counselors and everybody else deal with discipline, that this kid does not want to learn that the environment they're in, so they need to find a different way. Okay. Teachers are in the foxhole. They're in the classroom. They need to be involved in decisions for improvements. The board has to establish clear goals of acceptable behavior and what the vision is for the school system. I'm in a school system that probably is one of the worst in the state. They rank the high schools here in my state. Now of 105, we're ranked number 102. I know, by the way, it's just by scores of the state level. Now, is it realistic for the principal and superintendent to say, well, we want to be number one? No, it's not. And if it was, then everybody just throw up their hands and not try. However, if they say, well, we want to move up to the middle third, that's realistic and something towards work towards. Okay, and goals can be set both at the teacher, principal, and superintendent level. And when it comes to stuff like this, there has to be thinking outside the box when it comes to issues. And we've always done it that way. It's not an acceptable answer from an administrator, because if you're in a situation we're in, it hasn't worked, so you got to change. Okay, for principals and assistant principals, they have to establish that work environment that rewards success. Every student in the building knows which teachers just come to draw a paycheck and which teachers come there to work and put their heart and soul in it. And the principals should know that as well, and reward that. They need to recognize those teachers. And it doesn't take a lot to recognize a teacher. A thank you every now and then. A $100,000 candy bar in your mailbox one day that says, thanks for what you do. It's not much, but it's something saying that you are being appreciated. We need to be able to have clear, understandable goals. If you have a mission statement for the high school and it's got 50 words in it, that's a problem. Nobody's going to remember. If you come up with 3 or 4 bullets, then that's reasonable and that's achievable and something that can be worked towards. Okay, as a principal, you have to be personable and you got to care. We don't have to be on a first name basis, but you should at least know what makes me tick and what makes me do a good job, and you should be able to tell when I'm having a bad day. And just to say a thank you every now and then. And as a principal, you should be expecting the best and help me get there for my students. As teachers, my job is to get the kids to graduation and walk across the stage and be ready for life. I have to establish an environment that rewards success and makes students want to come to my classroom, be involved in my JRTC program, be involved in my teams, want to make a difference. Okay. My goal should be, as a teacher, to recognize students in the community and to the administrators. I should be, every time one of my Raider teams is successful, I need to let the principal know. I need to put it in the paper. I need to put it on a local channel. Okay. I need to give feedback to the students. Okay, Johnny, you did good. Here's how we can do better, and this is what we improved last time. And it's worth. We're getting there. We're doing better. Okay. As long as we don't make the same mistakes twice and we show improvement, then that's progress. I need to have clear standards of success and what's acceptable behavior. Okay, and I need to apply that to all the students, but also got to remember every student is different, and what success is for one student will not be success for another student. Some student may be successful getting an A to D in the class, while another student, if they don't get an A+, they may feel that they failed. Okay, I've got to be personal and show that I care. Okay, I'm a person. For me, it's a challenge in the fact that I wear a uniform, and a lot of kids are scared of the uniform and a high and tight haircut. So that's intimidating. So I've got to break the barrier that, yes, I'm a person. I wear normal clothes when I'm not at school, but I've got to bring that type of leadership. And that's a challenge for military folks, is to be inclusive, because it's always been, you're in charge, make a decision, let's execute. Well, as a teacher, you can't do that. You've got to, and my JRTC program is built on the kids running the program, making decisions, me guiding them and they go through it. So that's my challenge there. Um, and every now and then I just got to recognize the kids, say thank you, job well done, that was nice, that was good job. Okay. Remember, I got to expect the best. What I expect, I should be inspecting, and I should help the students get to that point. If it's important enough for me to be looking at, then I should be helping them get there. And one of the things I got to remember is, and most high school teachers got to do this, is they're just kids. They're 14, 17, 18 years old. The only thing they can think about is probably up to Friday night. Some of them come to school so they can eat. And when you take all that in consideration, you got to remember what success is and how far do you want to move that kid from where they're at to be to the future and be more successful than they are. And that's the key, is how do I make my student more successful than they are right now.